Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, distinguished guests, and folks of all stripes, put your hands together for the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Houston, we have Paul Salazar Jr.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. You can find the Substack and the podcast at spacecadetsports.substack.com. I'm your host, Paul Salazar Jr. Very happy to be here in studio in Los Angeles with my producer and co-host, Carla the dog. She is eating her dinner, and she is very happy right now. It was a stressful game for all of us, but Carla, she always gets a Paul Newman beef jerky treat whenever the Astros hit a home run. And they hit a couple home runs this game that I was very excited about. My excitement, of course, is her excitement. So we had a good time watching this game. It wasn't always good. It was a very stressful game, folks. I'm not going to lie. I was really worried there. In the ninth inning, I was getting all my stuff ready to record a podcast right after the game. But the ninth inning was just so tense and so tough. I told myself, maybe give yourself a breather before you jump onto the podcast there. I was spiraling, folks. If we got swept by the Yankees, the panic meter definitely would have shot up today. It's probably still going to raise a little bit in this next coming week. I'm sure we'll hear from the panic meter again. That would be to new listeners. That's the official Space Cadet Sports Houston Astros panic meter for the season because people wanted to be panicking immediately out of the gate. I decided to make my own panic meter to let everybody know where I am and where I think you should be too. Most likely, we will see where the panic meter is in the next couple of days here, folks. But yeah, the Astros won today. 4-3. Hader got his fourth save. He got a 4-out save for this game. It was very tense. It really came down to the wire this game. But right now, I'm feeling really good because this team needs to find ways to win. And at the end of the day, they played another good game that really could have, I've seen this game play out many times before. The Astros have a decent offensive game. They don't really knock in as many runs as you would expect them to or hope them to. And that comes around to get them at the end of the game when there's just a little bit of tough pitching towards the end. But luckily, we had enough offense to win the game. Luckily, we had enough pitching to stop them from scoring, and the Astros win 4-3. It was a good game. It wasn't a great game, folks. I definitely I posted that meme out there of Yordan Alvarez reacting to that John Singleton home run. John Sluggington really has showed up this season. Obviously, Jon Homerton is a great nickname, John Sluggington. I don't know. There's something about the ing kind of makes it seem royal. I don't know. I definitely know that's not going to take off as good as Jon Homerton. But I always like giving players extra nicknames. That's just something I always do. To new listeners of the podcast, get ready. You're going to hear a lot of weird nicknames that I've bestowed upon these players. But yeah, it was a tough series, folks. Going into the Bronx, the Astros usually take care of business. They find a way within themselves to win, and they just got beat up in those first two games in the Bronx, folks. Justin Verlander, I was not expecting him to get beat up that much, but he had a tough game. You could check out an article on that on the blog. Definitely Spencer Getty. We were hoping for a better performance from him. He has great stuff. He has great strikeout potential. One of the things I said about Arrighetti is that if he was going to go deep into the game and be effective, he was going to have confidence in his stuff and have good location. He definitely has confidence in that stuff. It's just that he struggled with his command at times, and that definitely got him into trouble. The Astros pitchers, or the Astros starting pitchers specifically, giving away so many walks has really been the bane of their existence this past month, and pretty much this whole season, we should say. But today, in this game where we desperately needed to win to avoid being swept by the Yankees for the season and for this series, the Astros stood up. They stood strong, and they took care of business. Just like the the first couple games, the Astros started scoring early in the first inning. However, this first inning was a little different than normal. Kyle Tucker was not the home run hero. It was Yordan Alvarez kind of breaking out of his slump that hit a big home run in the first. And then right after, well, not right after, Pena was batting fourth in this game, which, we've definitely been watching Pena rise through the lineup, especially as other players are falling down the lineup. But Pena batted fourth, but John Singleton, in his plate appearance, just hit a monster, like, upper decker shot, just a moon shot, which even Yordan Alvarez was completely reacting to. Everybody reacted that way. It was crazy, that first inning. It just felt like this could be, this could be a changing of the tide here for the tides for the Astros. But the Yankees are a good team. They came back with a couple runs in the third against Ronel Blanco. That was tough, and Ronel had a good game. For looking at his game here, he did come away with a win, giving him the fourth win of the season. For him, he pitched 5 2/3 of an inning, giving up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He did give up that 1 home run. But Ronel Blanco had a good game, which is exactly what we needed. Carla's up here with me, folks. She's decided to be here for the podcast. Thank you, Carla. She sometimes walks away, especially during wins. I feel like during the losses, she's right by my side. But during the win, she's like, I could walk around for a bit. But yeah, so we had a great, a stellar outing from Ronel Blanco, I would say. He's really been the stopper for the Astros this season, which is insanely crazy to think about. Ronel Blanco, the converted reliever, if it really wasn't for injuries, he would not have been called up as early as he had, and just he is a great pitcher. He had great great seasons in the Dominican League. I believe it was the Dominican League. Pardon me, in one of the winter leagues at least. I hate to be completely incorrect here, but he had a great season in the Winter League. He's been around for a while, and he was able to just keep steamrolling and keep doing good into the Major League season. Probably to the surprise of a lot of people, but not to the surprise of General Manager Dana Brown, who has been saying that Ronel Blanco should be a starter as soon as he got to the Astros organization. So it's good to see Ronel have such a good start to his season. It really looks like this guy is the real deal. We're just going to keep rooting him on. We need a stopper on this team. This team has been really streaky. It seems like every single time that Ronel Blanco's turn in the rotation has been to pitch, he has been trying to get us out of a losing streak. So it's really good to see Ronel Blanco get another win and do what he does. It was in the fifth inning, the Astros did come back to score their fourth run. That was off of a Jeremy Pena single on a ground ball. Yordan Alvarez scored off of that. That made the score 4-2 at the time. But yeah, it's been tough sledding for the Astros with runners in scoring position. Even in this game, they were 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position and left 8 men on base. There are multiple moments where you were hoping that the Astros would do a lot more damage, especially in the earlier innings when there was a lot of traffic on the base pads. There's a great article on Fangraphs right now. I definitely suggest everybody read that. It's about Jeremy Pena and his really great start to the season, but his simultaneous poor start to the season. And I think that really is the metaphor for the Astros this start of the season, because Jeremy Pena has been playing exceptionally well. He's been doing great with his weighted runs created. He's exceptional, but when you look at his win probability added, it is in the negatives. He has exceptional weighted runs created and an insanely low win probability added. And that's because he has amazing batting statistics. Jeremy Pena, whether you're looking at his stats or you're looking at him from the eye test watching the games, this kid has figured it out. He's hitting for power. He's hitting with confidence. He's not the guy from his sophomore slump that you could pitch a slider away to, and that's just going to be, a strikeout every single time. What's that, Carla? Yeah, Carla says that Jeremy Pena is being more selective with his pitches. That's for sure. So it's really good to see. You could tell that Jeremy Pena is him. Jeremy Pena is doing great. He has an average of 333 and an OPS of 845. Jeremy Pena is great. However, when you kind of look at some of the instances that he has with runners in scoring position with, the win probability added statistic, those moments where you have guys on base, when it's late innings, when it's a big, quote unquote clutch situation, and Jeremy Pena has struggled to execute with the game on the line sometimes. And that's not to say that he isn't having a good season or he isn't clutch. It's just that that's frankly how the Astros have been this season, is when late innings with runners in scoring position, they don't seem to be executing. However, when you look at their statistics on a whole, their statistics are pretty darn good. They are even exceptional. In multiple categories, they are league leading. But somehow they are losing all these games. And, Jeremy Pena got a full negative, I believe, 1.1 of win probability added off of just one game in against Atlanta when he was hitting in the late innings with the game on the line with runners in scoring position. I feel like that's just where the Astros have been this season, is they are actually doing really well when you look at their statistics, when you're looking at their how they're batting, their philosophy looks sound. But for whatever reason, when it really push come to shove, when they need to get those runs in, they're struggling to get those runs in. And even in this game, that happened. So that was very frustrating. But I do say that if you haven't read that Fangraphs article, go give it a read. If you don't know what these some of these statistics mean, I've definitely been pouring myself into statistics lately. I know it is not kind of layman's terms that I'm using here, and I'm still getting to know my audience here, whether it's the blog or the podcast. If you want more stats, definitely let me know. If you want some clarification as to what stats I'm using and how we get them and what they mean exactly, I'd be happy to do that too. But for now, we're just going to move on for time's sake. We're going to go on to pitching in the in the sixth inning, I should say. Ronald Blanco did get pulled, and Brian Abreu got put in. Brian Abreu ended up pitching 1 1/3 of an inning in this game. He closed out the sixth and went back to pitch the seventh. He ended up getting 3 strikeouts, pitching out of some trouble, and generally seeming to build off of. It's okay, but it was a good outing from Brian Abreu. It was really good to see that, and something maybe he could build off of and keep continuing to try to continue his season going in a positive direction. In the eighth inning, we had Ryan Presley come in. Ryan Presley only ended up pitching 2/3 of an inning. He did come into a little bit of trouble. He gave up a run, gave up a hit, and a walk. He did give up a home run, I should say. He didn't seem his sharpest. The game seemed to be getting away. We did not want a blown save, so Espada pulled Presley and put Hader in to get the last out in the eighth inning there. Hader, obviously I said the score, so we know that Hader did his job. He got that save that gave Presley and Abreu a hold. And yeah, Hader got the 4-out save. It looked a little tense there. He did give up 1 hit. He only got 1 strikeout. But this is good news. While it was tense, I should say. It's okay, Carla. Carla's grumbling because it was tense. She's like, it was. Don't say it could have been. But while it was tense, the team did solidify. They did get the win, and they did pitch well enough to get the win, which is exceptional for the Astros right now with where their record is. We'll take any wins we can get. On the offensive side, to just kind of clear the rest of that up, it was good to see. I mean, everybody got on base, I believe, except Mauricio Dubon. Dubon had a bit of a tough game. He didn't get on base. He got struck out once, which is rare for Dubon. And he also had a bit of a bobble in center field that looked like it could be a little perilous. Something I've been mentioning lately, just looking at Joey Loperfido here. Joey Loperfido, the natural outfielder, he got picked up 2 hits and even worked a walk in this game, and he did not strike out, which brings his average to 316 on the season with an OPS of 697. If he could lower that strikeout rate as he continues to get at-bats and plate appearances, he could easily find himself getting some more playing time. However, I've mentioned that could be at the expense of Jake Myers, which, Jake Myers, we did that meme where, Jake Myers getting an RBI because Joey Loperfido is breathing down his neck. I do feel like, Myers has a potential finding less playing time in the outfield here. But when I was looking at StatCast, I was trying to like I said, I've been pouring through stats, trying to figure out what the heck is going on with this Astros season, Pouring through stats, I found out that when it comes to jump, which is the kind of defensive metric used by StatCast, Jake Myers is the best outfielder in the league, and it's not even close. When it comes to defense, Jake Myers is him. I mean, it seems like the team has wanted Jake Myers to start at center field for quite some time. They've been pushing for him. It seems like Baker was hesitant to use Myers. Baker was hesitant to use McCormick, and it looked like the front office was pointing to statistics saying, play them more. So yeah, when I look at Jake Myers' defensive statistics, he is exceptional defensively out in the outfield there. And Dubon, while he has a great arm and he is a Gold Glove utility guy, he can be prone to a play like this every now and then. I'm not saying that this is going to happen regularly. And Loperfido, while he's a natural outfielder, we're still trying to figure out what he can do on the major league level. I think it's very apparent that the front office wants Jake Myers in more at center fielder. Announcing Jake Myers to be the starting center fielder at the beginning of the season, I feel like trying to force Espada's hand. But Espada has not been using Myers as an everyday center fielder. So, right now he's more of a defensive specialist, and, his defensive numbers are great. But it would be great if the Astros were able to use a defensive specialist and not have to worry about offensive production, 1 through 9, as much as it had to this season. And Jake Myers does have great exit velocity. He does not have bad numbers, but when we're looking at the other options, maybe getting Dubon in there to get some hits, maybe getting Loperfido in there to get some power, maybe, Chaz has been playing more until his injury. I'm thinking, it's going to be a tough shuffle here for Joe Espada with this outfield. You have so many specialists. Which one are you going to use in center on this day? It could spell trouble for Espada trying to figure that shuffle out. It was also promising to see Bregman get a couple hits. He is batting, lower in the batting order nowadays. He's batting at 6th, and he's getting a couple hits, which is really good to see. You don't want to see someone like Alex Bregman struggle. He's had a tough start to the season. It's really starting to affect his place in the batting order. It's affecting his facial hair. You could see that beard coming through. But, it's good to see him piece together a good game here because we need him to build off of that, and we need more slugging from him. Like I was saying earlier, Pena continues to impress. The only person that really struggled, besides Dubon, I should say, would be Kyle Tucker, who did not get a hit in this game. He did work a walk and struck out twice, but he's obviously played so well this season that you just chalk this up to a tough game for him. Just really a couple swings out of the zone that I'm sure he wished he could have had back. It was great to see this, folks. It's really tough to see to see the Astros get handled by this Yankees team, and it's exceptionally frustrating for me to see a fan base so rabid for hate that they cheer when Jose Altuve gets, almost hit by a pitch, or, just kind of any kind of pain they could see Altuve in, they're kind of happy to see it and they cheer for it. The F Altuve chants are just insane. I just don't get it. It's real. I'll say it. It's LDE is what it is. That whole thing is LDE. If you don't know what that is, yeah, go look it up, kids. But no, don't look it up, kids. But yeah, all pettiness aside, all jokes aside, it's good to see a win. After the game, I walked Carla. We went on a nice little walk in here in my little side of LA. I even saw a kid. He maybe was 6 years old or so. 6-year-old kid running around with his older brother and his mom. He was wearing an Astros hat. I told him I liked his hat. Had a nice little fun moment there. You don't see that many Astros hats in LA, especially blue and orange. Like he was rocking the classic one. So shout out to that kid rocking his hat. Very happy with the win. So are we here at the podcast. And folks, it's definitely time to look forward. Dropping the series and not getting swept is it's tough. It's tough to celebrate, but at this point, it's what we have to celebrate. It's like we didn't get swept. We fought. We won the game. We can build off of this success. Looking forward, we're going to Detroit, and we have some good pitching coming up. We have Fromber, Christian Javier, and I believe Justin Verlander are going to be pitching in Detroit. So you love to see that. You're hoping that they can figure out some things here. It's just statistically, it doesn't make sense that a team would be hitting so well and struggling in the bigger moments when they've done that in the past. Obviously, they're putting pressure on themselves. There's that element to it. But I feel like these statistics kind of even out after some time. They will figure out a way to hit with runners in scoring position with games on the line. The pitching is figuring itself out. That will come with starting pitching, having all the horses back. We'll give the bullpen confidence. We'll give the lineup confidence. Getting back to 500 is going to be a feat. I'm not going to say it's easy or anything like that, but it is something that this team can do. The helicopters are coming for me, folks, here in LA. I think somebody reported that I was an Astros fan. But that being said, we definitely will do a series preview, either article or recap. So just look out for that, and we'll talk more to the Detroit series here at the podcast or the blog. Thank you so much for listening, folks. We really do appreciate you. Check out the Substack at spacecadetsports.substack.com. You can find us on the social media at Space Cadet Sports. That's going to be on Instagram and TikTok. Consider being a subscriber where you can get all the blogs, all the memes, all the podcasts, video podcasts, all the series previews and recaps that your heart desires. Please be a subscriber. Check that out, folks. If you want to see cute pictures of Carla, you can find that at her Instagram at good.dog.carla. Thanks so much for listening. Keep your head up. It's really going to be a game-by-game type of season, folks. We're just going to have to keep, focusing on the game at hand and getting that W. And you know what? That's what happened today. Let's just keep moving forward. Like Dana Brown says, turn that corner. And vamos Astros.